Hi, welcome to No Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin, the guy. So today, you guessed it, gonna talk about repair stands. Gone through a lot over the years. Been doing this for 30 years, and repair stands have progressed and gotten better over time, which is great. And then some have gotten kind of cheaper out there. So it's gonna highlight some of the ones I've used and what I had purchased. None of these are sponsored. This is what I use day to day. And so repair stands obviously is a very beneficial thing for having a little home shop or working on your bike time and again. And you know, overall general, it just makes it easier to get the bike off the ground to work on it, even to fix the flat or doing something minor on it. So highly recommend to get a repair stand. They come in a variety of prices. It is something that's probably worthy to invest in. And this is where I'm going to go into what to invest in and what level of usage. And, you know, I'm a kind of a component or a guy that's kind of a component of, you know, I like to overbuy a little bit, not overbuy max. You know, a little bit, so you know you have a little bit different, you have a nicer quality product, and you have a little bit of growing room into it, right? Not necessarily, I got it, it's good for now, it'll fall apart, or I'll give it to my brother's son, whatever, you know, it's like one of those things that it's a little bit of investment. Some are a pretty big lift, but basically, they're all pretty good in the sense of the ones I'm going to be showing you. So the two brands I've been specifically using for the last, good 30 years is between Park and Feedback. It used to be called Ultimate. That's the company before they went to Feedback. We'll talk about Park in a minute because that's the big one I have right now. I'm going to start with consumer stands. So let's just back up. You know, when I was just basically on my own, out of a shop, doing my own thing with software or whatever, or working part-time in a shop, and I had access to daily use, I got myself a repair stand. This is the one right here. The brand is Ultimate, but actually it's now called Feedback. I believe they were purchased. They used to be made in Fort Collins, Colorado. Now they're a Golden company. So they are still a local to Colorado company. I'm sure they're made overseas now, but they were making them here. But anyway, solid design, great work on it. Their idea first came out with this little slide lock deal, which was kind of cool. So you loosen it up and lock it down, then you tighten down that seat post so you can get, you know, onto the frame. But mostly, let's back up. When you attach your bike to a bike stand, always try to use the seat post. And if you need to raise that seat post, put a little bit of electrical tape around it so you can put it back down to where it was for sizing, but that's where you want to clamp onto. Don't clamp onto the frame, disclaimer. Back to the racks. So this was awesome. It was cool. This is a consumer one. This was the upper end consumer one in the day. We're talking like 15 years ago. But this bad boy folds up pretty easily. And there you go. It can fit. And they made bags for these guys, which I never got one, but I never needed to. But it's nice and compact enough to put it in a corner in your garage or whatever. And this one I used pretty religiously for a long time. And even when I started doing this Noah Guy thing before it became a Noah Guy thing, when I was testing out, this was the stand I was using. So it was pretty solid, held up, put hundreds of bikes on it. It's very sturdy, even tandems, those big old monster beasts, with obviously a brace for the front or the back, whatever I was working on. But it was, you know, it was pretty solid. So this is a pretty good solid too. So going to the company it is today, I'm going to show you two types. One is more of a consumer one, which is this guy here, the black one. And I think it's like the sport model, which is Feedback Sports. A lot of the same characteristics. They fold up a little bit differently now. It's more of like a pull, straight down pull versus an angler. This is just a little bit newer design. Same wide footprint though. It's really solid. That's what makes these really durable. They have a wide footprint on it, so you're working on a bike, you can really get into it and it's going to hold up. A lot of these adjustments kind of thing, up and down. And this little guy is actually this accessory, which I use on a park. So I love this tray accessory so much that I pretty much put it on my park stand because it was on this stand here. Holds my Allens, has a big little area so I can put all my little tidbits and junk and whatever. And then this is the parks version, but anyway, of the tray. But this stand's solid too. It doesn't have that quick link, but it's just like your spinny type deal, tightens and loosens, but it folds down the same. Actually, yeah, it has that just a general lock. Loads down like this. These are an accessory aftermarket little towel holder thing that you can buy for them. Oh, and yes, when I was talking about truing stands, let's talk about that for a second. So this truing stand, this is the ultimate one, but they make a new version of this, which is from Feedback. This is what I was talking about, that it slides right onto the top of the stand. So you got your truing stand and your bike stand all in one piece, if you so choose. So you can do both. So that's what's cool, and that's with all the Feedbacks. You can put that little accessory, and they have other accessories to them. So yeah, that's a pretty cool little thing. Very sturdy, holds up really well. And also compact. And you can get bags for these too, a tote bag you purchase as an aftermarket accessory. So those are those two. And I bought those specifically. Well, I'll show you the ultimate top one before I get into that part. This is their high-end one, which they came up with a new high-end one, which is HD, which is kind of like for full suspension e-bikes for heavier stuff. This one, for what I do, is overkill, and it's great. I love it. This has a particular head on it that we used in the shops that I've worked for before. And what's really, the basic portion of it is about the same, but you have alloy bits, an alloy bottom here for the clamps. So it's a little bit sturdier there. But what makes this one different is this head. And this head, they actually still, I believe it still sells aftermarket to fit the parks ones, which is kind of cool, because what's really nice about this guy is, you move it around, you tighten up your bike, but here's this big red button. Don't push the red button. Well, push the red button. Okay, you push the red button, that gives you this feature, which is awesome. So you get your bike up there, clamp it down. To release it, boop, pop it open. So tighten it down, you can crank it, take a couple turns, open back up, next bike. Big out, hang out, so you can you can hang your bike if you wanted to. Not recommended, but you can. So this is a really nice release ratcheting system, especially if you're going through a lot of stuff and work on it. So yeah, for day to day, the sport one was probably just fine. The more elite one here, it's pretty nice. I mean, you can buy this stand and you won't need to use it again. I mean, it's like one of those things, buy another one again for most of your home stuff. This folds up really well. You can leave it in place, or you can fold it up, put it aside. So Justin, why do I have all these stands? And why do you have new ones? Well, good question. I talk to myself all the time. That's why I'm doing these videos. I do the MS150 charity support. So for charity rides, I have a couple buddies from Parker Bikes Days that we go out and we do the support ride every year. And this year I was like, okay, I got a business myself. This is a write-off. I'm going to splurge. I'm going to get these guys some good tools, which I featured the Feedback tools before, and and the stands. We've been mediocring from like Band-Aid stands and stands borrowed from bike shops or whatever over the years. It's like, I'm going to commit and buy like 3 of these things and 3 tool kits for all of us. They can take them home and use them until the next event, or I'll just store them here. And I decided to invest into 3 stands and 3 tool kits. Yeah, it cost me a pretty penny, but after the end of the day, it's well worth it. They hold up. We use them every year. We torture the hell out of them, and we put them away, then we go on with our lives. But that's why I have all these stands initially for the feedback ones. And feedback is the one I did choose for more of the portable version stand, because it's easy to use, and it just has a good footprint, so it holds up. The parts hold up. The company backs all the parts really well as Park. If I have any issues with these, I'll call them up like, hey, your rinky-dinky-dinky-dink got broken and I need a new one. They'll send me a new one. No problem. So they're a good company and have been around for years. And all those guys, they're great. So going into Park. So I had that first Ultimate pan, which is now feedback. Then I was like, oh, I'll try a Park commuter stand for a while. So I did this for a half a season or so. And this one did pretty good. It's a fold out, doesn't compact as much, but it has, adjustability here. But it really isn't that high. Oh, interesting little magnetic bottle cap. Anyway, so it's like I picked this up at one of my deals. Buying other bikes, and they're like, oh, we'll sell this too. I'm like, okay. I was going to use this as like the MS-150 backup. This is one of those junky ones that I was talking about. I want to say junky. I'm sorry. It was good. It was solid. It did its job, but it wore out quickly. I mean, it's one of those things. It's been outdated, really, because when you fold it up, it's kind of like awkward. This is as small as it goes. Even though it does have a really good clamp system, and if you're just doing your normal fix a flat, just in derailleur, putting some bar tape, and that this is okay. But if you want to splurge a little bit more, definitely go with the Ultimate. But Parks is known for like the snap-on of the bike tool world, and they make the professional stand, which is this one here. So let me set this aside. So this is the Park consumer one, and I'll stand behind it so you can see it a little bit better. So this is a 2-arm one. You can get a 1-arm one, which is a little bit less, not as big. Awesome. This has adjustment. I'm a taller dude, so I like my bikes being high up. I don't like bending down as much anymore. So, and these have a really cool little clamp. I love these because they're open up like a lockjaw. And when you get your C-post in there, you clamp it down and tighten it really quick and easy. That's what's nice about these. Also, if you like that other head from Ultimate, they will fit in this particular design here. These are solid and stout. I mean, you can get an old one and clean it up and get some new heads and teeth and rubber for the clamps, and you're good to go. These things they take a beating. You put tandems on these things, the heavy e-bikes, that kind of deal. But the drawback is you're not gonna move it around. Once you put it in one spot, it stays there. Because for the supporting all this metal weight on top, here's this massive steel plate for a base. So that massive steel plate ain't going anywhere. I mean, I gotta tug it around and move it in places and so forth. But what's really cool about this guy is you can adjust this or loosen this up. And there's a pin that holds it. So if I want to switch sides, like if I have a bike on one side, I need to open up a stand on this side to work on another bike. I can, then go back to my original job, flip it back over. It's kind of a nice little feature, especially when I was doing service riding. You're working on a bike and you're like, oh, let me pull this around so I can get some tools, that kind of thing. So without having to take on and off. But anyway, just a neat little trick there. You can get, I think it comes with the alloy heavy rack here, tool rack, which holds your Allens and stuff, which I just haven't outfitted it out. So I have this guy up here, which I kind of prefer, but I use it to hold my polishings. And then I have all the tools here that I mainly reach. For me, Allens are easier to grab from this angle than then to reach over here. But that's just my personal preference. And that's more of a stationary situation for this particular rack. So Park as well has been around forever. You can get replacement parts for these too, and also heads and everything. So if you find an older one that somebody is selling used, you can do that. New ones of these guys, well, when you look it up, it's one piece for the T part, then another price for the base. You can anchor these if you want into the concrete, and they have a little adjustment plate you can buy separately to anchor them to in place it, not going anywhere. So you can do that. But I suggest, if you don't know for sure, I would use the base plate, and it's a little more versatile. If you ever need to move everything out of the way to clean the floors or whatever, once a year thing, you can, that kind of thing. Park tools, they also have they're going crazier with bike rack. They have one that's motorized now. You go into some shops that are nice, the motorized ones to lift, which has really become beneficial for the e-bikes, because e-bikes are pretty heavy, or tandems. You can clamp it on the ground and you just pull it up, kind of like your lift in your auto repair shop. But those are in the thousands. This is less than 1,000, and all those are in the hundreds. Repair stand's a very vital tool that I use every day. I really suggest the tool for somebody who's a novice and they don't have one yet. It's something you need to invest in. Great gift idea if you're going to give somebody, even though if they have one, and then you find out it's kind of, you can step up their game like, hey, how about a nice one? Get a nicer Ultimate one or a nicer Park one. Park makes nicer ones too. I just don't have them. These are the ones that I purchased personally, so I don't have the whole line. They didn't give me anything to do these videos. I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight of what I use and what I've used over the years, and what works well. And these for me have paid for themselves 10 times over, from the headaches and heartaches and trying to I've worked on older stands which don't work well, and it's like that worn out Allen wrench or tool that you're trying to get it to work for that one thing, and you end up stripping something, and then you're down that rabbit hole, and that kind of thing. So again, have the right tool for the job to do the job right. So there you go. So taking scary out of used, one bike at a time. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos and more of them, subscribe to my channel. I have all the parts on these and affiliate links to them. So if you want to get a quick look at them, see what I've been talking about in this video and what I use in the shop as well, I have that listed. The same game as everybody else anyway. Not no better, no less. Anyway, well, thank you for spending your time with me, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. From the garage.